Coming up, one Kansas casino files a lawsuit against the state after it passes a bill legalizing sports betting.
Considerably cooler than what we started off with our mornings last week. No record highs this week, just a shot for more rain. The latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And lawmakers in the Missouri House wrap up their session with a bill protecting patient-visitor access at hospitals.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first let's go to Michael Hayslip.
Don't have to worry about waking up with it already sitting in the 70s. No record highs this week. Still going to be considerably above average, however. 56 right now in Joplin, 51 in Iola. Let's roll 61 there in Miami. So quite a difference from north to south. Done with our rain for the time being, coming off of the heavy downpour that we had yesterday. Even reports of hail coming out of portions of Oklahoma. There you go, down to the south right there. Look at all those storm reports just to the south of our highlighted counties. And I know that there were some people in the 4 states that even saw some hail falling, just not large enough there to actually make the storm reports as far as the National Weather Service goes. Our weather trend for today, it is going to be delightful. We'll get a whole bunch of sunshine, work up into the mid to high 70s. So like I said, we're going to avoid those high 80s, close to 90 like what we had last week. Here's future track into motion. Now Tuesday morning we get a little that wants to sweep in, especially for the west and the southern portions. And then as it kind of breaks up, it kind of rolls through each and every day. And that's why on the 7-day forecast there, we keep those chances, albeit sporadic, for Wednesday and Thursday, not widespread. But then we're going to pick back up on Friday. The interesting thing about Friday's system, that is a legitimate cold front that's going to drop us down about 20 degrees there for the weekend.
All right. Well, at least yesterday for sure. I mean, it just seemed like the thunder and lightning all day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only got it up to 78 degrees at Joplin Regional Airport. And temperatures weren't too bad, but yeah, just one of those that thunder and lightning would not give up. It was probably rather impressive.
Yeah, it was. It was loud. All right. Thanks, Michael. One person is dead, one injured, and another in custody following a shooting late Saturday night in Pittsburgh. According to the Pittsburgh Police Department, just before 11 Saturday night, numerous 911 calls came in of people reporting multiple gunshots around the 100 block of West 23rd Street. When officers arrived, they located 2 female victims. 40-year-old Stephanie Short of Pittsburgh was pronounced dead at the scene. 49-year-old Velma Cubey of Kansas City had gunshot wounds as well and was transported to Via Christi in stable condition. Police identified the suspect as 39-year-old James Hamilton of Pittsburgh. Hamilton was taken into custody by the police department. Officials have requested charges of murder in the first degree and attempted murder in the first degree. Authorities arrest a shooting suspect in Montgomery County, Kansas. The Independence Police Department responded to a report of shots fired at the 300 block of South 18th Monday night. Witnesses say a gold Mercedes came to a house and the driver threatened another person with a weapon. Shots were fired and the Mercedes fled the area. Officers chased the car and arrested Marcus Lawrence after a short pursuit. Investigators say the 2 people involved in the shooting know each other and the attack was not random. Joplin Police Department mourns the loss of another former member. JPD announced one of their retired canines, Pax, passed away recently, peacefully Sunday morning. Pax retired from the force in 2021 after having a successful career. During his time in the force, he had over 500 vehicle searches, 40 suspect apprehensions, and located 1,631.8 grams of methamphetamine. During his retirement, he lived at home with his handler, Officer Bobby Brown. Pax would have been 12 years old this year. Pittsburgh Police Department announces the addition of a new canine officer to its force. Roan is a 2-year-old German Shepherd brought in from Poland. Roan will be paired with Officer Zachary Daney. Together, they completed a 6-week certification course through Patriot K9 and are certified in narcotics detection, human trafficking, and suspect apprehension. A Kansas casino sues the state shortly after Governor Laura Kelly signed sports betting into law. Boyd Gaming operates the Kansas Star Casino about 15 miles south of Wichita under a contract with the Kansas Lottery that runs until December of 2026. They argue the state is breaching its contract, which says the lottery will not permit competition from similar facilities in the Wichita area. The dispute stems from a provision in the new law allowing new gambling devices at Wichita Greyhound Park, which closed in 2011. Missouri House spent its last day of the session Friday passing language protecting patient visitor access at hospitals. House members voted overwhelmingly in favor of the regulations on hospital, nursing home, hospice, and other long-term care patients. The measure was motivated by visitor bans and restrictions during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Senate did not vote on the matter as it ended its session a day early. And a young woman fighting a terminal illness is on a mission to help others. Molly House from Galena delivered Medi teddy bears to Freeman Hospital. Medi teddies include plastic bears that hide IV bags that hang from poles and plush bears for children to hold. House spends a lot of time in hospitals herself from a terminal illness and has made it her mission to help others who fear needles like she does.
It had a pink shirt, says, "We are strong, but we are mighty." And the moment she showed me that teddy bear, my focus came off of the needle and onto that teddy bear.
If you're wanting to know more about Medi Teddy, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, get ready to fire up the grill because it's National Barbecue Day. Whether you grill at home or grab some takeout, you'll find Americans across the country enjoying an assortment of mouth-watering barbecue flavors and sauces today. In the world of barbecue, grillers decide how to cook their barbecue, whether they choose charcoal, wood, gas, or slow cooking. They consider themselves the culinary expert of barbecue. Traditionally, Americans have 4 types of barbecue regions: Kansas City, Carolina, Memphis, and Texas. Whatever your barbecue preference, enjoy the day. And remember, no barbecue meal would be complete if you didn't add a slice of watermelon for a light dessert after a big meal.
To each their own on the watermelon, but yeah,
I love me some watermelon.
not too bad. It's going to be a great afternoon, evening. If you want to fire up the grill, not going to have any worries about any weather concerns for today. Very mild right now, albeit almost cool if you compare to where we were at this point in time throughout most of last week when we were challenging those record highs. Top out in the, let's go mid to high 70s today. A whole lot of sunshine to go along with it. We are going to pick up some rain, however, on the 7-day forecast. We'll begin that early tomorrow morning for the west and to the south, and then make it more sporadic there as we get into the middle of the week.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Royals look to pick up a win against the Rockies in the thin air of Mile High Stadium. Plus, the Joplin Rotary Club and FFA team up to raise money for the Ronald McDonald House over the weekend. And get out and enjoy the springtime. But watch out for ticks. We've got ways for you to keep yourself healthy outside while dealing with these 8-legged pests. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Cotter College Rough Riders winning the Region 16 title on Saturday following a 7-1 victory over Jefferson. Third straight regional championship for the Rough Riders as they had to face some adversity through the weekend. Here's Coach Lolleman on how his team dealt with that adversity en route to the championship.
We definitely earned this one. I mean, it was hard fought, and in the St. Charles game we were down 3 twice and came back. So a lot of resilience there, and then obviously Miz was dominant in game 2 against Jeffco, so that made it a little easier. And then all of a sudden, you know, get popped 12-11 and have to play for 6 hours. But the guys responded, and that's what I tell them all the time is the one thing that championship teams do is they respond.
Here's a look at the Rough Riders who made the All-Region team. Josh Patrick and Peyton Holt named first-team All-Region as infielders. Jake Wilson, first-team All-Region recognition as a pitcher. And pitcher Jacob Misarowski, he is your player of the year. Rough Riders advance to the South Central District Tournament. That's going to take place in New Orleans. They'll face Eastern Oklahoma. Game 1, Friday, high noon. Kansas City on the tail end of a long road trip. Royals play the Rockies in the series finale. Tied at 1 game apiece. Pick it up in the 7th. Bobby Witt Jr. First pitch of the at-bat. His 3rd home run of the season. Makes it 4-0 Royals. Now KC extends the lead to 6 until the Rockies rally back. Caught for the fly ball, but good enough for the sac fly And it's important because Colorado just tacked on 7 straight runs. 9th inning, Salvador Perez, win it. Lines it in the left. That's going to score 2 runs. Kansas City, they persevere as well. Come back and win this thing 8-7. Cardinals 3 games back from the division lead up against the Brewers, and now they got St. Louis, or then they got San Francisco. And tell you what, Giants playing some good baseball as well. But check out the Cardinals dropped 15 runs. Had 4 in the first, 4 more in the fourth. Yadier Molina went 2 for 3 with a home run, drove in 4. Paul Goldschmidt and Andrew Kisner each had 3 runs driven in. Game 7, Eastern Conference semifinals in the NBA. Celtics coming off a 13-point road win in Game 6 and aiming to finish it off at home. Down 2, however, with 2 to go in the half. Jason Tatum ties it up at 40. Third quarter, Celtics start to pull away. Tatum spins, finds Jaylen Brown all alone for the 3-pointer. Then Grant Williams, baseline, throw down the dunk. 1 minute to go in the third, Drew Holiday finds Giannis Antetokounmpo. The full court lob, my goodness. But the Bucks would need Antetokounmpo to be super special today, and even though 99% of the time he is super special, when you got a career-high 27 for Grant Williams, now the Celtics set a Game 7 record. 22 3-pointers. Boston headed to the conference finals, blowing out Milwaukee 109-81. In the West, you want to talk about a tad bit of an upset here. Dallas wins it 123-90 in a series in which the road team had never won a game. And not only did you have, who was it? Spencer Dinwiddie came off the bench, scored 33 for the Mavericks. The first reserve to score 30 points in a Game 7 since Eddie Johnson did it, and only the second player as a reserve in Game 7 to score 30 points. Only the second player to do that since 1970. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un flexing his military muscle. This time, it's a battle against COVID. And a check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Take a look at our daily almanac. Little weather on the 7 action, seeing as how it's 5:17 on this May the 16th. Record high dating back to 1971 of 89 degrees. We'll stop way short of that. Let's talk a little bit about that precipitation down there at the bottom. Because for the year, if we go back to January 1, we're about 5.8 inches above normal. That's right, above normal is what we're looking at. Current conditions over 7th and Rangeline, 56 degrees. Very quiet start. Still got a little bit of a sheen there coming off the parking lot and the pavement from all the rain that we had over the weekend. 55 in Monette and in Carthage. Throw Parsons and Neodesha in there as well. 61 in Miami and Grove compared to 51 up to the north in Nevada. A little light cloud cover hanging on, especially along and south of I-44. It gets much, much thicker there as you jut down into portions of Oklahoma and Arkansas. Clearing off to the north, and that's why we will have mostly sunny skies. There's a look at our weekend rain totals. If you go back the last 48 hours, you'll see in excess of 2 inches, that dividing line that runs from the northwest down to the southeastern portion. So whenever you see those little bands of yellow, yeah, that's about 2 to almost 3 inches right there. As far as the national perspective, look at the jet stream cutting right through us. And since it's working in from the northwest, that is an indicator of some cooler temperatures. It's still not too bad, right on par really with our average high this time of year, which would be 77 degrees. And so there we are with the breeze from the northeast, but just 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overnight, a little bit of a shift in the wind. We'll see it work in from the east, but mostly clear. Now, as we get into Tuesday morning, here's where we got some changes. Left-hand side of your screen is where they will begin to pop up as it works through Kansas and Oklahoma and then kind of makes its way toward us just for the morning commute. We'll get some heavy rain with that, and then this thing's going to slide down to the southeast throughout Tuesday morning. Going to hang on there till really about the noon hour. Then we're going to clear off for most of Tuesday afternoon and evening, and then we're going to get restarted on Wednesday. The hardest rain, though, for early Wednesday morning, going to try to skirt up to our north until it rolls through off to the east. As far as future track goes, you'll see that long dividing line that we talked about there for Tuesday. There we go. And then the thing really kind of takes off there as it reaches portions of central Missouri. So it'll increase after it gets through our neck of the woods. We're going to keep our chances for rain rather sporadic on Wednesday and Thursday, and then it's a little bit more widespread on Friday. Big thing about Fridays is the cold front, because look at that temperature drop from Friday into Saturday. Even the rain that we had here over the weekend, we saw about a 10 to 15 degree drop. That could be about a 20 degree drop between our high on Friday in the mid 80s and then only topping out around 65 on Saturday. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page, our morning Insta poll as well. We call it our Something to Talk About. The Ronald McDonald House, along with the Rotary Club and Joplin FFA, all working together over the weekend to benefit a nonprofit organization. The Ronald McDonald House hosts the event once a year. And KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more on how it not only benefits the Ronald McDonald House, but gives other volunteers important life skills.
Members of the Ronald McDonald House, Joplin Rotary, and Joplin FFA were out in Webb City cooking to benefit the nonprofit.
Cooking for a cause, and this is the actually number of years that we've been partnering with the Webb City for healthy choices, healthy lives. But even more than that, all the proceeds today from our event go 100% to the landscaping at Ronald McDonald House.
Farmers market attendees could purchase a meal of biscuits and gravy to benefit the nonprofit. It's something the Ronald McDonald House takes part in every year with the help of other area organizations.
They wouldn't be able to complete the mission that they've got, Ronald McDonald House, if they didn't get help in the community. So we're always looking for charities that need our help.
Joplin FFA members were also there to help, learning valuable skills along the way.
We like helping our community and helping our peers around us, so this is something we enjoy doing. There is a lot of people that realize that we are here, and I just gained that we can always put a smile on people's faces.
And the Ronald McDonald House is there to help them grow in that passion to serve.
FFA is all about service, but it's also about leadership. And that servant leadership is what Ronald McDonald House really fosters and develops. So as they grow and become the young people and the adults that they're going to be, we really look at FFA working with us.
FFA members say they learn lessons in helping their community.
It helps us help our community and know that we are here no matter the circumstances that there is.
In Webb City, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Money raised goes towards the beautification of the Ronald McDonald House. Brings us to our question of the morning, asking how you are involved in your community. Several ways to connect to us. You can go directly to the poll at koamnewsnow.com/vote. You can also connect to us via our Facebook page at KOAM News Now. Get your results a little bit later in the show. Come back, Healthwatch next.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, doctors suggest spending time in nature to boost your health. Previous studies show spending at a minimum of 2 hours outside a week has several health benefits, and that's according to Dr. Nushin Razani from the University of California. Patients who spend time in open air have seen positive effects on their health. Doctors across the U.S. are prescribing patients to spend time outdoors to treat conditions like anxiety, depression, and high blood pressure. Razani suggests walking or spending time with others outside as possible options. And doctors suggest gardening to help prevent osteoporosis. According to neurosurgeon Deborah Benzel from Cleveland Clinic, gardening daily might be a good way to halt osteoporosis. The bone condition debilitates the bones and increases the risk of fractures and ruptures. Benzel says studies show gardening can also improve your immune system and help prevent dementia. However, she recommends starting to implement it in your routine slowly and says it is beneficial for people of all age group. It also gets you outside. It's a bacterial infection that can spread to your joints, heart, and nervous system. While there's no way to know how many people get Lyme disease in the U.S., a CDC estimate based on insurance records suggests nearly 500,000 Americans are diagnosed and treated for it every year. Mandy Gaither has more on how to prevent illness for National Lyme Awareness Month.
They're creepy, crawly, and packed with potentially dangerous bacteria that can lead to Lyme disease.
Deer ticks are 3 millimeters in size, so they're tiny, and if they bite us, it really doesn't hurt. It takes a deer tick at least 36 hours to transmit the illness.
Dr. Dan Sullivan with Cleveland Clinic says if a deer tick is removed within 36 hours of it latching on, the threat of Lyme disease is smaller. But if the tick isn't removed within that time period, the risk rises.
It's a little red spot where the bite took place, but then the redness expands. So it looks a little bit like a bullseye.
Other initial symptoms of Lyme disease can include fever, chills, headache, muscle and joint aches, and swollen lymph nodes. A doctor can prescribe an antibiotic to knock out the infection at the earliest stages. If left untreated, Lyme disease can affect the heart and nervous system.
The best part about Lyme disease is it's preventable.
CDC data shows spring and summer are a tick's favorite time of year to bite. The creatures like to hide in high grass. Keeping lawns mowed and hedges trimmed are key. When outdoors, especially in a wooded area, keep your skin covered with clothing. Wear insect repellent with DEET. Then do a tick check. Look behind knees, in the scalp, and underarms. Ticks should be carefully removed with tweezers.
If you find a tick and are uncertain how long it's been there, Sullivan says go see a doctor. Blood tests can confirm whether Lyme disease is present. Let's look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
As the skies begin to lighten over Television City, if you have a chance, look out to the west right now. We have the what's left of our full moon. It was officially full overnight there. We'll try to get a picture of that over 7th and Rangeline here in just a little bit. Temperatures right now, you probably want a light jacket when you walk outside. We're anywhere from the low 50s. We got a couple of low 60s that we're scraping by down to the south right there. Going to be a delightful afternoon though. We'll go mid 70s with a whole bunch of sunshine today. So not oppressively hot or humid like what we had past couple of weeks. Remember, we are going to kick in some rain here for Tuesday morning. It's mainly going to be the western and southern portions of the 4 states. And after that rolls through back into the 80s for most of the week. Got a big one coming on Friday into Saturday because that thing is really going to drop our temperatures. About a 20-degree difference there for the head of the weekend. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Coming up, one Kansas casino files a lawsuit against the state after it passes a bill legalizing sports betting.
Finally, a break from that weekend rain, off to a gorgeous 4-state start, and still have a little bit of the full moon lingering. We'll have the latest in the Skywatch weather center.
And lawmakers in the Missouri House wrap up their session with a bill protecting patient visitor access at hospitals.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:32. I'm Tanya Buck. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first let's go to Michael Islip.
Look out to the west. Still get a great shot of what's left of our full moon. Officially full from Sunday night in to Monday morning, but still brightly glowing in the 4-state sky. There we are facing off to the east where we still got, about 40 minutes till sunrise, but going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous looking Monday. Temperatures pretty widespread, especially from south to north right there, as we still have 61s in Grove and Welch compared to 51s in Fort Scott and Nevada. Then as you move east to west, really not much of a difference there, 55 in Neodesha and 54 in Monette. There's the Skywatch storm tracker, the cloud cover hanging down along and south of I-44. No rain associated with it though. So we're finally going to be done with that for quite some time. But let's go to Tuesday morning. All right, let's just fast forward here. As we know, today is going to be up into the 70s. As we work into Tuesday morning, out to the west, we see it begin to formulate, and then it works in just in time for tomorrow's drive, especially for those of you living in the west and the south. And then this thing's going to kind of jot off to the southeast throughout the morning, kind of linger there along 44 into the south, probably until around the noon hour. We get a break then for the rest of Tuesday, push up into the 80s. That'll begin a string of 80s this week. And then for Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, additional rainfall going to try to skirt to the north. The heaviest of the rain should be up around the Kansas City area, if not even north of that, however. So that's why we kind of keep that at around a 10% chance for Wednesday and Thursday. More widespread on Friday. Friday is going to bring us a cold front as well, drop down to the 60s for Saturday.
All right, well.
No record highs this week. Don't have to worry about that. And if you have a chance, step outside, look to the west, and you're going to see the full moon. It's absolutely gorgeous right now.
Yeah. Not too shabby of temperatures.
No. I mean, on par for middle of May today, and then after that, a little bit above normal, but not challenging anything like what we did last week.
Yeah, at least we have a 65 and a 70 in there. Something to look forward to for the weekend.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, shortly after Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signed a bill legalizing sports betting, the state was sued by a state-owned casino operator. Boyd Gaming operates the Kansas Star Casino about 15 miles south of Wichita under a contract with the Kansas Lottery that runs until December of 2026. They argue the state is breaching its contract, which says the lottery will not permit competition from similar facilities in the Wichita area. The dispute stems from a provision in the new law allowing new gambling devices at Wichita Greyhound Park, which closed in 2011. Missouri House spent its last day of the session Friday passing language protecting patient visitor access at hospitals. House members voted overwhelmingly in favor of the regulations on the hospital, nursing home, hospice, and other long-term care patients. Measure was motivated by visitor bans and restrictions during the COVID-19 pandemic. Senate did not vote on the matter as they ended their session a day early. A grieving mother in Erie, Kansas wants change after finding out that her son, who passed away in January, will not be honored at graduation. Kansas Association of School Boards has a policy for schools to follow, stating schools do not recognize those who are deceased during graduation. KOAM's Bronte Soronsky spoke with family, friends, and the superintendent and has more.
All he ever wanted to do was graduate, and he's not here to do so.
Raiden Colborn was born with a rare nervous disorder called ataxia, and in January lost his battle with the disease. This would have been the year he graduated. His mother, Carrie Colborn, says she found out that it was against school policy to honor deceased students like her son at graduation, and was shocked.
It's like saying to me, your son did not exist. And that's hard.
Erie School District Superintendent Troy Damon says the district follows policy from the Kansas Association of School Boards, which recommends not recognizing deceased students at graduation.
The policy isn't geared towards anyone in particular. And so it's for everyone, and it's to protect people that have lost somebody, and they don't necessarily want to be reminded of that loss.
Classmates of Raiden say they'd like to see this policy change.
It's not fair, not right to Raiden and his family. You know, the one thing that Raiden wanted to do was graduate, and everyone that knew him knew that. And I just think that it's disrespectful in a way to not allow his wishes to be carried out.
I just feel like if it's something that we want to do and if we want to recognize him, then like we should be allowed to, because it is our graduation.
Raiden's mother says she'd like to see more done at the local level.
The local board needs to take a stand. They need to take a stand, and they need to really focus on trying to build good character in the school, if that is what they're trying to tell me this policy is supposed to do.
But Damon says the school isn't targeting a specific person with the policy.
It also isn't earmarked for a specific person. It's just a policy for everyone that may impact.
In Erie, Bronte Soronsky, KOAM News.
Erie High School's graduation took place last week. Here's Michael with a look at your forecast.
Pretty mild start, and we are on the dry side, and temperatures in between about 51 and 61 degrees. Sunny skies today, starting working from the northeast, just 5 to 10 miles per hour, shifting to the wind overnight into the east, providing us a little bit warmer temperatures for tomorrow. But remember, the big factor is tomorrow morning, I would say around 6:30. A little bit of rain begins to formulate out to the west and southern portions of the 4 states, and then dips below I-44 throughout the course of the morning.
Well, this morning we're discussing community service. Over the weekend, the Joplin Rotary Club and FFA joined cooking forces to benefit an area charity. They call it Cooking for a Cause. Attendees could not only enjoy a delicious meal of biscuits and gravy, but all of the proceeds went to benefit the Ronald McDonald House. It wasn't just the attendees or Ronald McDonald House that benefited from the day, though. Members of the FFA learned valuable community lessons. Community service like Cooking for a Cause is a win-win-win situation for everyone involved. And however you choose to benefit the 4 states, it can only help someone, whether it's cooking, giving blood, donating time and money, or volunteering your services in whatever form that may be.
Our question, how are you involved in your community? Right now, 3/4 of the respondents say it's through donating money. We also have a number of other options there, including other, and that's where the additional 25% remain. Each and every morning, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, or connect to us via our Facebook page at KOAM News Now.
All right. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, Ukrainian resistance forces Russia into a long, bloody phase of the war. Plus, we'll take you under the sea for some projects designed to protect and rehabilitate coral reefs. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, new images of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un as the country faces a dire COVID-19 outbreak. State media aired these images of the leader visiting local pharmacies and presiding over an emergency meeting on Sunday where he discussed epidemic prevention measures. He also gave orders to mobilize the military to help stabilize the country's COVID-19 medicine supply. North Korea faces a national emergency as the number of COVID-19 cases continues to rise. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with a Senate delegation led by Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell in Kyiv on Saturday. Zelensky was calling for Russia to officially be recognized as a terrorist state. Ukrainian leaders said the meeting was a powerful signal of the two parties' support of Ukraine by the United States Congress, as well as the American people. Senators John Barrasso of Wyoming, John Cornyn of Texas, and Susan Collins of Maine were among those in the delegation. Bloody battles continue to wage across Ukraine, and the Ukrainian defense ministries say they are now forcing Russia to enter a long phase of war after putting up a strong resistance and reducing Russia's targets to an operational and tactical level. Meredith Wood has the details.
A massive explosion ripping through the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol, Ukraine. It's a dire situation with difficult negotiations underway on evacuating gravely injured people from the plant. The Ukrainian deputy prime minister saying the result of the negotiations may not please everyone, but their task is getting everyone out alive. This as the first war crimes trial for a Russian soldier opens in Kyiv. The Ukrainian prosecutor general's office now investigating more than 11,000 war crimes.
We will identify all of them, and we will start to prosecute all of them.
And the arrest of U.S. Olympic basketball champion Brittany Griner in Moscow has been extended until at least June 18th. The devastation triggered by Russia's deadly invasion is not only being felt in streets and skies across Ukraine, tearing lives and families apart. This 18-year-old is now responsible for raising his 4 younger siblings by himself after their mother was killed by Russian shelling. The teen saying,
Маму вбило просто. У мене на руках загинула. Мама лежить на боку, і її останні слова. Зі мною все добре. Я перегортаю там.
Let's look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back with the news you need to know before you head out the door. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. 1 person is dead, 1 injured, and another in custody following a shooting late Saturday night in Pittsburgh. According to the Pittsburgh Police Department, just before 11 Saturday night, numerous 911 calls came in of people reporting multiple gunshots around the 100 block of West 23rd Street. When officers arrived, they located 2 female victims. 40-year-old Stephanie Short of Pittsburgh was pronounced dead on the scene. 46-year-old Velma Cuby of Kansas City had gunshot wounds as well and was transported via Christie in stable condition. Police identified the suspect as 39-year-old James Hamilton of Pittsburgh. Hamilton was taken into custody by the police department. Officials have requested charges of murder in the first degree and attempted murder in the first degree. Pittsburgh Police Department announces the addition of a new canine officer to its force. Roan is a 2-year-old German Shepherd brought in from Poland. Roan will be paired with Officer Zachary Dainty. Together, they completed a 6-week certification course through Patriot Canine and are certified in narcotics detection, human trafficking, and suspect apprehension. On Saturday, Joplin Humane Society hosted its second annual Fast and Furious Drift 5K and Fun Run. Runners of all ages, human and dog, lined up at the starting line to raise money for Joplin Humane Society. Vendors also gathered to show their support for the race by having goodies for the dogs. Whether people walked, ran, or pushed strollers, everyone had a good time to support the community. On Saturday, Jasper County Sheriff's Office hosted a Community Safety Day for the community. Sheriff's Office wants the community to learn more about what they do day to day to keep the community safe. K-9 units and the SWAT held demonstrations to show what they go through while in the field. Many local vendors came to showcase what the community had to offer. And a shooting demo was held inside to practice shooting at targets. Of course, nothing was complete on this hot day until you had some food. Popcorn, hamburgers, and snow cones were offered to the public. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Head out that door and take a look out to your west. You've got an idea right there, hanging over the intersection at 7th and Range Line. What is the remains, if you will, of the full moon. Certainly is a gorgeous, gorgeous Monday morning here. And we don't have to challenge any record highs today. That'll be a nice little break. 56 degrees is where we stand at Joplin Regional Airport right now. And even with the high humidity up to 93%, because, you know, we're not starting off in the 70s, we're not going to have a wide divide between the actual temperature and what it truly feels like. These are the true temps, if you will. 54 in Monette and 55 in Carthage. That's exactly where we find Neodesha and Parsons as well. So east to west, temperatures very close together. But look at this north-south discrepancy, as we've now seen Iola slip down to 49 degrees compared to the 60 that has been rather constant in both Miami and in Grove. Get below I-44, we do have some cloud cover as well as some patchy fog the farther south that you go, a result of that high humidity, but all the rain just kind of sprinkling there through central Kansas. We did see places that picked up 2.5, 3 inches of rain over the weekend. We're not going to have to worry about any rain emerging until tomorrow morning. It'll work in from the west. Once it does, we're going to pack a little punch here. We'll get a little thunder and lightning thrown down with that for tomorrow morning for the west and the southern portions. Then watch this thing dive off to the southeast along I-44. So it's going to linger about into the noon hour. But if you're up north and if you're out to the east, probably going to stay on the dry side here. Then as we get through Tuesday afternoon going to be delightful. And then here we go again on Wednesday. It's really up to the north. The hardest of the rain is going to stay to the north side of Kansas City. Temperature is 70s today, 80s after that. Coming short of records each and every one of those days. But look at Friday into Saturday. Big cold front. Go roll in, drop us about 20 degrees there to start our weekend. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
The benefits of coral reefs are bountiful, from providing shelter to countless creatures to protecting coastlines from storms and more. But environmentalists say these are all at risk. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration reports the world has already lost between 30 to 50% of its reefs. As climate change, pollution, overfishing, and invasive species continue pushing these fragile creatures to their limits. Ashley Stromier has a look at a series of special projects aiming to combat the crisis.
Just like the tides, the future of the world's coral reefs are turbulent. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, from 1901 to 2020, the surface temperature of the world's oceans increased by roughly 0.14 degrees Fahrenheit each decade. This change in temperature can result in coral bleaching, a process where the organisms lose the algae inside of them, turn white, and then die. But there's still hope.
If the coral is not healthy and doesn't have a surplus of energy, it won't invest in reproduction. So the first thing we had to do is make sure the coral has great conditions to live in.
Scientists at Florida's Coral Rescue Center are busy breeding hundreds of new coral. They're part of a species off the coast of the Florida Keys, facing threats from stony coral tissue loss disease and climate change. Researchers will continue fostering these new coral babies in hopes of using them to restore nearby damaged reefs. A similar rehabilitation project is also underway in Cuba, where divers are combing the seafloor for broken pieces of coral.
Those that fall in the sand die automatically. In 2 days, you can see they turned white.
Officials hang the fragments from plastic tubing. where they can continue growing and have about a 99% chance of survival until they're large enough to be repopulated.
These strategies, similar strategies from these smaller coral programs could also help Australia's Great Barrier Reef. Scientists recently revealed more than 90% of its corals are now bleached. We'll be back with another look at your forecast right after this.
Got the development of just a little bit of patchy fog down to the south. It hasn't been too bad. Our visibility numbers, they're holding pretty steady right now, but it is something that we're going to keep our eye on for the next hour or so. As a result of pretty high humidity right now, as we're sitting about 93% at Joplin Regional Airport. But with temperatures this mild, it really doesn't play any role as far as the heat index. And today's going to be rather nice. We'll go mid to high 70s as well. Plenty of sunshine with the clouds kind of lingering down to the south, not picking up any rain involved with that. You can actually just see it sporadically there through East Texas and then on the other side of the Mississippi as it moved through Arkansas. And we need that coming off of places that had 2.5, almost 3 inches of rain there over the weekend. Now, our afternoon planner is going to set us up with a little northeasterly breeze, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly sunny skies and temps topping out around 77, 78 degrees. As we get ready for tomorrow, we'll start off in the 60s, but really the big change for tomorrow is going to be for the west and the south, as we are going to pick up some thunderstorm activity that will begin to move through and then drop below I-44 for the rest of the morning hours, kind of setting us up for a little bit of a warm front as well, as we'll be in the mid-80s by the middle of the week and back right after this.
Coming up, a casino files a lawsuit against the state of Kansas after it passes a bill to legalize sports betting.
As we get ready to say goodbye to our full moon, spring is definitively in the air. Warm temperatures and shots of rain. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And lawmakers in Missouri pass a bill to protect patient visitor access at hospitals.
News starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories and much more in just a moment. But first, let's check out the weather with Michael Hayslip.
Look out to the west right there, Tanya. There it is. Still hanging on to a little shot of our full moon. And remember, for the next several days, with our lack of cloud cover and pretty clear nights, you still get a great shot of it. Officially full for last night into this morning. Here we are with our current conditions at Joplin Regional Airport, 56 degrees. Yeah, humidity is clocking in there, 93%, but because it's nice and cool, we don't have to worry about that muggy, oppressive feeling. Live shot outside of Television City, that's about as gorgeous as you can get. We are going to monitor the fog tracker here for the next hour or so. Right now, starting to see just a little bit begin to build down there graphically on the fog tracker, but as far as our actual visibility numbers go, we haven't really seen much of a drop. We'll call that a winner right now. Temperatures ranging, we did have a 49 in Iola, now we're back up to 50, but a large discrepancy from the north to the south, where we're sitting in the 60s for northeast Oklahoma, and then east-west is just about the same about everywhere you go. We'll go mid-50s consistently through there. Clear skies today. Start off with a northeast breeze, just 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then as we work overnight, here's where we got our first big change of the week. It'll work in from the west. It'll present itself with some thunder and lightning to go along with that. Begins as it builds on us, some heavy rain there just in time for the Tuesday morning ride. Watch this thing dive south of I-44, holding on into southwest Missouri till around the noon hour. Then on Wednesday, Tuesday night / Wednesday morning, we're going to watch it move up to the north right there. Luckily, the heaviest rain looks like it'll stay north of Kansas City for the most part. But looks like everybody's going to get a little bit here before the middle of the week. And speaking of the middle of the week, Tanya, look at that warm-up as we're up into the mid-80s there by Wednesday and Thursday.
Well, yeah, that's a little bit warm for my taste right
A
now.
little bit warm for this time of year. Massive cool down, though, coming for Friday and Saturday.
Blowing hard, that's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, shortly after Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signed a bill legalizing sports betting last week, the state was sued by a state-owned casino operator. Boyd Gaming operates the Kansas Star Casino about 15 miles south of Wichita under a contract with the Kansas Lottery that runs until December of 2026. Now, the casino argues the state is breaching its contract, which says the lottery will not permit competition from similar facilities in the Wichita area. The dispute stems from a provision in the new law allowing new gambling devices at Wichita Greyhound Park, which closed in 2011. One person is dead, one injured, and another in custody following a shooting late Saturday night in Pittsburgh. According to the Pittsburgh Police Department, just before 11 Saturday night, numerous 911 calls came in of people reporting multiple gunshots around the 100 block of West 23rd Street. When officers arrived, they located 2 female victims. 40-year-old Stephanie Short of Pittsburgh was pronounced dead on the scene. 46-year-old Velma Cubie of Kansas City had gunshot wounds as well and was transported to Via Christi in stable condition. Police identified the suspect as 39-year-old James Hamilton of Pittsburgh. Hamilton was taken into custody by the police department. Officials have requested charges of murder in the first degree and attempted murder in the first degree. Pittsburgh Police Department announces the addition of a new canine officer to its force. Roan is a 2-year-old German Shepherd brought in from Poland. Roan will be paired with Officer Zachary Daney. Together, they completed a 6-week certification course through Patriot Canine and are certified in narcotics detection, human trafficking, and suspect apprehension. A sad note, the Joplin Police Department is mourning the loss of one of its former members. JPD announced one of its retired canines, Pax, passed away peacefully Sunday morning. Pax retired from the force in 2021 after having a successful career. During his time in the force, he had over 500 vehicle searches, 40 suspect apprehensions, and located 1,631.8 grams of methamphetamine. During his retirement, he lived at home with his handler, Officer Bobby Brown. Pax would have been 12 years old this year. We thank him for his service. Well, authorities arrest a man suspected in a shooting incident in Montgomery County, Kansas. Independence Police Department responded to a report of shots fired at the 300 block of South 18th Monday night. Witnesses say a gold Mercedes came to a house and the driver threatened another person with a weapon. Shots were fired. Mercedes fled the area. Officers chased the car and arrested Marcus Lawrence after a short pursuit. Investigators say the 2 people involved in the shooting know each other. The attack was not random. Missouri House spent its last day of the session Friday passing language protecting patient-visitor access at hospitals. House members voted overwhelmingly in favor of the regulations on hospital, nursing home, hospice, and other long-term care patients. The measure was motivated by visitor bans and restrictions during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Senate did not vote on the matter as they ended their session a day early. Rock and gym lovers are making trips to the Joplin History and Mineral Museum. The museum is hosting its 15th annual Rock and Gym Show. The show gives visitors the chance to check out some cool rocks and gems, as well as learn a little history about why some gems are special to this area. Some visitors go because they like the variety of colors.
For me, it's the colors. Like, I love the colors because, like, the brighter colors, like, I just like get so excited, and like I love polishing them too. And like, because I like, you know, like the process of like cutting it being rough, smoothing it out, and then polishing it. And then I really like, you know, like I like talking to people about it too.
The show ran through the weekend. Well, some young local artists are showcasing their artwork. The Joplin Public Library on Friday hosted a closing reception for its Young Artists Club. Visitors got to meet the artists and celebrate their work. The club provides an opportunity for children to learn new art techniques and create art.
Confidence, and I hope that it just helps them kind of boost confidence in their own creativity and that they just keep on creating art and getting it out into the world.
The club meets monthly at the Children's Library and is open for kids up to 12 years old. Today, back in 1929, the first Academy Awards ceremony took place. Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences handed out its first awards at a dinner party for around 250 people. It was held in the Blossom Room of the Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood, California. The brainchild of Louis B. Mayer, head of the powerful MGM film studio. Academy was organized in May of 1927 as a nonprofit organization dedicated to the advancement and improvement of the film industry. Its first president and host of the May 1929 ceremony was the actor Douglas Fairbanks Sr. Unlike today, the winners of the first Oscars as the coveted gold-plated statuettes later became known, were announced before the awards ceremony itself.
Because that way you knew if you needed to show up,
Right.
to
There's
actually
no
show off your
suspense that
award.
way. I'm glad they changed it though.
If you were one of the snubs, then you could just plan accordingly and go have dinner someplace else.
Yeah.
You didn't
Save
need to
the
worry.
shame.
Right. You didn't need to worry about it. Day planner going to be absolutely gorgeous for this morning. Sunrise at 6:09. Mild temps right now and mostly sunny skies. There is an idea of what we're looking at is, like I said, we found ourselves mere seconds away from official sunrise over the 4 states. Temperatures up into the mid to high 70s. Later on today, a little northeasterly to easterly breeze, but just 5 to 10 miles per hour. Remember, next bout of rain rolling in tomorrow morning. It arrives from the east in between about the 6 and 7 o'clock hour. Pack some thunder and lightning in there as it dips down to the south of I-44 until about the noon hour.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, we'll meet a pizza server who was tipped $800 in an act of kindness. Plus, a senseless tragedy in Buffalo, New York.
10 people lost their lives while shopping at this Buffalo grocery store. I'm Bradley Blackburn with what we're now learning about the alleged shooter, who police say committed a racist hate crime.
And a new study shows kids need to become active once more. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, we're learning more about the teen who allegedly killed 10 people at a supermarket in western New York. An attack authorities believe was racially motivated. Bradley Blackburn reports from Buffalo.
The city of Buffalo, New York is in mourning after a mass shooting left 10 dead at a supermarket.
This is not open season on African Americans.
Investigators say suspect Peyton Gendron specifically targeted the store because he wanted to kill as many black people as possible. The 18-year-old has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder charges.
The evidence that we have uncovered so far makes no mistake that this is an absolute racist hate crime.
Last year, police questioned Gendron after he reportedly made threats at his high school in Conklin, New York.
They interviewed the subject and they felt it was appropriate at that time to have that individual brought in for a mental health evaluation. The state police did their job to the fullest that they could at that time.
Buffalo residents said they were astonished by the allegations.
It boggles my mind that this young man traveled 200 miles, 4 hours, to target our community. It just boggles the mind.
On Sunday, President Biden condemned the attack. The White House says the president and first lady will come here to Buffalo tomorrow to join the city in mourning. Police say Gendron live-streamed the attack, and though a spokesperson for the site Twitch insists it was pulled down within 2 minutes, it does raise questions about what more social media companies could or should be doing to prevent publicizing violence. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Buffalo.
Total of 13 victims were wounded in the Buffalo shooting. 3 survived. Investigators say 11 of those targeted were black. At least 1 person is dead and 4 are critically injured following a shooting at a California church. A 5th person sustained minor injuries. Orange County Sheriff's deputies responded to a shots fired call at Geneva Presbyterian Church around 1:30 local time. Deputies say churchgoers subdued the gunman, tying his legs with an extension cord and confiscating 2 handguns from him. There were about 30 to 40 people in attendance at a church luncheon when the suspect, an Asian man in his 60s, opened fire. Orange County Sheriff Don Barnes is praising the church members for restraining the subject before he could do more harm. 2 people were killed and 3 others injured in a shooting at a crowded flea market in Texas on Sunday. Deputies responded to the shooting in North Harris County outside of Houston around 1 p.m. Harris County Sheriff's investigators believe the gun violence grew out of a fight between 2 parties. No innocent bystanders were struck by the multiple shots fired. That's according to initial reports. Deputies have recovered 2 pistols and have 2 suspects in custody, which includes one of the wounded. Service on Washington, D.C.'s Metro Red Line returns to normal after being closed due to a pedestrian death on Sunday. Metro spokesperson says 2 individuals entered the train tracks near Brooklyn and one of them, an adult male, was struck and killed. Part of the Red Line was closed for about 2.5 hours Sunday afternoon while Metro Police investigated. There's been no additional information released yet about the second person involved in the incident. That's a look at today's top national stories. We'll be right back.
A pizza shop server in Rhode Island got quite a surprise slice of kindness from a generous customer. How about an $800 tip? Sam Reed with the story.
Since 1968, the Big Cheese Pub off of Reservoir Ave in Cranston is a customer favorite for things like handmade pizza pies and super subs. The staff here is extremely close.
We are just a big family. We try to all look out for one another and just do what's best for each other.
Which is why waitress Jennifer Vernancio of North Providence, who's a single mom of a 3-year-old, is able to make it work at work.
It's been difficult. However, the Big Cheese works with us no matter what. I mean, with my schedule.
Last week on Wednesday, she was having a rough morning.
Stressful morning ended up to be an awesome day.
And finally, after finding a sitter, she made it to work a little late.
My first table of the day was super nice gentleman with his wife.
2 salads, 2 sandwiches, and a few interactions in between. The pair got up and left.
The gentleman looked over his shoulder and he said, "Bye, have a nice day."
And after taking the bill from the table, she couldn't believe what was written on the tip line.
She was like, Kim, someone left me a $600 tip. And I was like, Jen, stop. And I kind of pulled the paper out. I said, well, I have better news for you. It's not $600, it's an $800 tip. I said, so see? And she was like, I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna faint.
$810 just for Jennifer.
There are angels out there.
On a $48 bill.
Oh yeah, it's more than a couple shifts. I mean, it helps out. Everything helps out.
Jennifer says she plans to pay bills and is getting Jax a toy police vehicle.
It has sirens on it.
She says she never got the couple's name or any information about them. But if they're watching, this slice of kindness at the Big Cheese melted her heart.
I just want to say thank you so much. It meant a lot. The money is very much appreciative. It helps out no matter what. However, the kindness behind it and making my day from going a little hectic to that kind of a tip made me smile the rest of the day.
It makes a difference in someone's life. It goes a long way, and you never know what someone's going through.
Make it a little easier to get up and go to work right there, doesn't it? Current conditions over 7th and Range Line, 56 degrees right now in Joplin, as we're about 10 minutes past official sunrise over southwest Missouri and then southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. Our temperatures, wide variety from north to south, about a 10-degree difference compared to, excuse me, right in the mid-50s. Whether you go east or west. In the central portion, you know, some of the cooler temperatures in Pittsburgh and Lamar chiming in at 51 degrees. So far, so good on the fog tracker. We did have some patchy fog down to the south right there, but our visibility numbers are just going to considerably get better. Really weren't ever too bad, but considerably get better here after it begins to burn off a little bit. Skywatch Storm Tracker, the lighter cloud cover hanging down to the south of I-44. No rain to worry about. We are dry, but speaking of the rain, when you go back over the weekend, we had portions there in the yellow, that line that stretches from northwest down to southeast. That's 2.5, 3 inches of rain that we picked up. That's including Saturday and Sunday. There's a jet stream cutting right through us, and because it comes in off the northwest there, off the top of the Rockies, what that's going to do is present us with seasonable temperatures today. You know, last week all we did was talk about challenging those record highs. We'll go about 77, which is right on par for a May the 16th. A little easterly breeze, and then overnight, here's when we get our first round of changes. Temperature's not going to be too bad, but what we'll do is pay attention to what formulates out to the west. Going to pack a little bit of heavy rain here just in time for the drive tomorrow as it moves in. Some thunder and lightning for Tuesday morning. As it sprints down to the southeast, it'll actually hang until, say about the noon hour in our highlighted counties. As it pushes off back into the 80s on Tuesday, got some rain then Tuesday night. Majority of the hard rain will stay up north of Kansas City. And then we begin to warm up each and every day. That is for sure. Those overnight lows not going to do anything. It's going to be some good old-fashioned southerly heat that'll move in from Texas and Oklahoma, take us into the 80s for the rest of the work week. Big change coming again on Friday. Look at that big cold front drop us down about 20 degrees with Friday night's rain into Saturday morning. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine prevented an estimated 8.7 million symptomatic infections in the first year of its rollout. A national study funded by Pfizer found the shots prevented more than 110,000 deaths in 2021 and nearly 700,000 hospitalizations. The study ended before the rise of the Omicron variant. The use of antibiotics may be linked to an increase in digestive disease in older adults. Study at New York University tracked more than 2 million patient records. It found the more antibiotics are prescribed to patients 60 and older, the more likely they are to develop inflammatory bowel disease, including Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. And health experts say children need to get moving again. Research in the UK found even as pandemic lockdowns were lifting, only a third of children were meeting recommended guidelines for physical activity. At the end of last year, 10 and 11-year-olds were 13% less active than before the pandemic. Let's look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Whole bunch of mid-50s, got a couple 60s hanging down to the south. Big change from where we were starting off last week. You know, we got to remember, last week when we challenged those record highs each and every day, pre-sunrise temperatures a lot of times we're up into the 70s. So this is pretty seasonable. We're not going to worry about breaking any records this week. Now we are going to warm up as we progress into the middle of the week, but not too bad today. Sunny skies, highs in the mid-70s. Northeasterly breeze shifting to the east then overnight. Speaking of overnight, that'll be our first round of this week's rain. Move in from the west for Tuesday morning, mainly for the western and southern portions of the 4 states. Drop below I-44 throughout the later morning hours and then out of here by around noon. Overnight, then most of the rain stays up to the far north. We'll be back right after this.
Coming up, a casino files a lawsuit against the state of Kansas after it passes a bill to legalize sports betting.
Keeping our eyes on little patchy Monday fog. Going to have delightful temperatures today and eventually some impending rain. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And lawmakers in Missouri pass a bill to protect patient visitor access at hospitals.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach and we'll get to those stories and much more in just a moment. But first, let's check out the weather and Michael Hayslip.
Fog hasn't been too bad. Visibility numbers pretty steady, but it is something that we're keeping mindful of because of our high precipitation. No worries outside of Television City where it's absolutely gorgeous, and there we are with the sun beginning to illuminate our buildings at 7th and Rangeline, 56 degrees. There is that humidity all the way up to 93%. Cooler up to the north, 50s in Iola, Fort Scott, and Nevada. Compare that to the 60s. That we see in Grove and Welch, Miami right there at 59. No variety, however, east-west. Everybody pretty much 54 and 55 degrees. Down to the south where we see that cloud cover, that is where we were monitoring the fog. It gets much, much clearer the farther north that you go. Now, speaking of what's down to the south, that is actually where we're going to see the rain formulate here for tomorrow. We get through today unscathed. Sunny skies, highs in the mid-70s, exactly what we'd anticipate for this time of year. And then for tonight into tomorrow morning, in fact, just in time for tomorrow morning's commute, there we go. Roll some rain to go along with thunder and lightning. And as this thing drops below I-44, holds on until about the noon hour. And after that, we're going to warm up into the 80s for Tuesday. Then we'll look for some rain to the far north for Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, and actually begin a little warm up there. Mid-80s by the middle of the week, and then a big cold front coming for Friday night's rain into Saturday, about a 20-degree drop in our daily highs.
Okay, well, looking forward to the weekend, 65. That'll be nice.
Yeah, just got to get through that rain Friday night into Saturday first.
Yep, that's sure. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, one person is dead, one injured, and another in custody following a shooting late Saturday night in Pittsburgh. According to the Pittsburgh Police Department, just before 11 Saturday night, numerous 911 calls came in of people reporting multiple gunshots around the 100 block of West 23rd Street. When officers arrived, they located 2 female victims. 40-year-old Stephanie Short of Pittsburgh was pronounced dead at the scene. 46-year-old Velma Cubey of Kansas City had gunshot wounds as well and was transported to Via Christi in stable condition. Police identified the suspect as 39-year-old James Hamilton of Pittsburgh. Hamilton was taken into custody by the police department. Officials have requested charges of murder in the first degree and attempted murder in the first degree. Shortly after Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signed a bill legalizing sports betting, the state was sued by a state-owned casino operator. Boyd Gaming operates the Kansas Star Casino about 15 miles south of Wichita. This is under a contract with the Kansas Lottery that runs until December of 2026. They argue the state is breaching its contract, which says the lottery will not permit competition from similar facilities in the Wichita area. The dispute stems from a provision in the new law allowing new gambling devices at the Wichita Greyhound Park, which closed in 2011. Missouri House spent its last day of the session Friday passing language protecting patient-visitor access at hospitals. House members voted overwhelmingly in favor of the regulations on the hospital, nursing home, hospice, and other long-term care patients. The measure was motivated by visitor bans and restrictions during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Senate did not vote on the matter as it ended its session a day early. The Barber Lounge in Carthage hosted its first annual Battle of the Beards, and the beard battle was only part of the fun. There were also free inflatables, food trucks, raffles, and more. And there were multiple categories for bearded folks based on length and style. The winner in each category received beard and grooming products, gift certificates, and each first place winner received a trophy. There was one overall grand champion who won a grand champion trophy, 12-gauge shotgun, and a free beard grooming for a year. Nice. All right, let the beards grow. On Sunday, Joplin Public Library had a special guest. From murals, canvases, and even the walls and ceilings of her home, Mitsu Harder was a painter who loved to paint. After an accident that required her to have reconstructive surgery on both her hands and left her not being able to have the mobility to do what she loved, she found photography, another way to show her artistic side. Now having her art displayed all over the U.S., she's taking pictures of landscapes and historic buildings to show the beauty we may pass by every day.
I try to take pictures of things that we see every day that we pass and we forget to see the beauty of it. And I just kind of bring it out so we can see it again in a different light.
If you want to check out more of Mitsu's artwork, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. If you love board games, I know just the place for you. Bookhouse Cinema in Joplin hosts board game night twice a month. Whether you're a beginner, expert, young, or old, Bookhouse has all kinds of games. You can also bring your own board games to teach others.
Normally I bring a bunch of games. It ranges from 5 to 8. And we have some serious games, and we have games that are great for beginners, otherwise known as gateway games.
Board game night is at Bookhouse and the first Thursday and the third Sunday of each month. A young woman fighting a terminal illness is on a mission to help others. Molly House from Galena delivered Medi teddy bears to Freeman Hospital. Medi teddies include plastic bears that hide IV bags that hang from poles, plush bears for children to hold. House spends a lot of time in hospitals herself from a terminal illness and has made it her mission to help others who fear needles like she does.
It had a pink shirt, says, "We are strong, but we are mighty." And the moment she showed me that teddy bear, my focus came off of the needle and onto that teddy bear.
If you're wanting to know more about Medi Teddy, you can go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Today, back in 2014, pioneering TV journalist Barbara Walters signs off. Broadcast journalist and TV personality Barbara Walters retires from ABC News and as co-host of the daytime program The View. Landmark career that spanned some 50 years on air, the 84-year-old Walters blazed a trail for women in TV news. Walters worked as a TV writer and producer in New York City before joining NBC's The Today Show in 1961 as a writer and eventually on-air reporter. In 1974, she was named an official co-host of the program, the first woman to hold the job. 2 years later, Walters became the first woman to co-anchor a nightly network newscast.
About as iconic as you can get in the television landscape right there.
That's pretty awesome.
Always fun to watch her do an interview too. One of those things where if you sit down and watch a Barbara Walters interview, you can steal some tricks of the trade and the way she conducts those. She's just amazing. All right, future track today going to lift us up into the mid-70s. Going to be a delightful afternoon, plenty of sunshine. And remember, we'll get started tomorrow morning. It'll work in from the west right there, and that's going to throw some thunder and lightning our way as it drops below I-44. And then we warm up. Got a string of 80s headed all the way into the weekend.
That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, Elon Musk puts the pause on buying Twitter. Plus, helping out your community is important. Today, we want to know, how do you help in your community? We let you weigh in. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, Elon Musk says he wants to know more about how many Twitter accounts are real. On Friday, Musk tweeted that his $44 billion takeover was temporarily on hold due to his concerns about fake and spam accounts. Musk later said he remains committed to buying the company. Some Skittles, Starburst, and Lifesavers branded Gummy candies have been recalled. The FDA says tiny strands of metal have been found in some packages, and some were loose in the bag. Others were actually embedded in the gummies. Customers who bought the affected products are advised to throw it away. I buy those all the time. I'm gonna have to look into that. And New Zealand has a new plan for getting all of its citizens greener. The government says it's going to help pay for lower income families to ditch their gas-powered cars and replace them with electric vehicles. It's the latest effort in the nation's plan to reach net zero carbon emissions by the year 2050. With marijuana legal in many places, the FDA issued a warning about a growing danger to children on Friday. Edibles, which often look like popular candies and cereals, might be enticing to kids, but they should not eat them. The THC-infused products have caused serious symptoms like hallucinations, rapid heart rate, and vomiting in young children. FDA reports many kids have even been hospitalized. Since the beginning of last year, public health officials have logged more than 100 adverse events from edibles with THC. If a child has consumed an edible, call Poison Control 1-800-222-1222 before any symptoms appear. That's it for Consumer Watch. Let's go over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Insta poll on our Facebook page, community service. Over the weekend, the Joplin Rotary and FFA joining cooking forces to benefit an area charity called Cooking for a Cause. Attendees not only enjoying a delicious meal, got biscuits and gravy, but all proceeds benefiting the Ronald McDonald House. Not just the attendees or the Ronald McDonald House that benefits from the day. You had members of the FFA learning valuable community lessons, community service like Cooking for a Cause, a win-win situation for everyone involved. And however you choose to benefit the 4 states, it helps someone, whether you're cooking, you're giving blood, donating your time or money, or volunteer your services in whatever form that may be. That brings us to our question. How are you involved in your community? Right now, 39% of you say it's through donating money. 16% coming in second place right there. Well, I should say other, but as far as our actual choices, 16% say giving blood. We're going to come back, celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, but first, off to the Big Apple. Time to check in with Tony.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, our Kindness 101 series gives us a lesson in determination. Steve Hartman brings us the story of an auto mechanic who switched gears, you could say, to become a doctor in his 40s. That is coming up on CBS Mornings.
We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Harold Johnston. Machinist Second Class Johnston served in the Navy from 1943 to 1945. He served in New Guinea and the Philippines with U.S. Navy Seabees. His unit provided a safe return for General Douglas MacArthur. During his service, he earned the Asiatic Pacific Ribbon, the Good Conduct Ribbon, and the Expert Marksman Ribbon. His hometown, Yates Center, Kansas. We thank you, today's 4-state hero, Harold Johnston.
The birthday list begins with Jayton Johnson. He is holding that certificate indicating that he has recently graduated from kindergarten. A very happy birthday to you, Jayton. And this comes with love from Gaga and Papa.
And Cole Parks is 7 strong this year. All right, Cole, celebrating in Joplin.
About ready to hit the field. I love it. Kennedy Thompson, now double digits as Miss Kennedy celebrates her 10th birthday. A very happy birthday to you, Kennedy and Parsons.
Adeline Norfeliz is turning 15 years old this year in Joplin with birthday wish love coming from Grammy.
And
we've got Adeline's mother also celebrating in Joplin, Meryl Norfeliz, 38
cool
years old.
That's busy. That's a busy birthday weekend right there. Noah McQuiston celebrating his 25th birthday. A great picture right there. Good catch, too. Good catch. Noah, I want you to know that these birthday wishes come with love from the family.
All right. And let's see.
I love it.
Jason Greenwood turning 45 years old this year. Happy birthday, Jason, in Pittsburgh.
Love that picture, Jason. Very happy birthday to you. Terry Cook with a milestone, celebrating the big 6-0. Mr. Terry, happy birthday in Jasper.
And Les Green in person. Hope you have a wonderful birthday as well.
We've got the Griffiths celebrating their 40th anniversary, surrounded by the family right there, Kenny and Linda, and they are pictured with their wonderful grandchildren. So congratulations to Kenny and Linda.
All right. Cassie Hutchinson, one of our marketing consultants here at KOAM. Hope you have a wonderful birthday.
Throw another one up there, one of our account executives, Mr. Zach Wilson. Zach, a very happy birthday to you. Hope we get to see you and Cassie both later on today. I hope you guys have a marvelous birthday and happy birthday from all of us here, and thank you for everything that you do for us as well. Zach Basinger, a 25th birthday. Happy birthday to Zach in Webb City. William Radnauer, turning 20 in Weir. This comes with love from Aunt Charity and Uncle Jamie. And we finish it off with Corey Pitts and Julie Cox as they celebrate their 14th anniversary. Congratulations, Corey and Julie in Lamar. This is where you can send them into birthdays at KOAMTV.com. You can also go to our website at KOAMNewsNow.com. Here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club. All you have to do is go to our website and sign up. And once you do, you get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMNewsNow.com. Sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
Coming up when we transition to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, 68-year-old woman with a goal to kayak down the Mississippi River. We're going to find out why she's doing this for a very good cause, inspiring the spirit of giving. That ties into our something to talk about as well. So that's when we transition over to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Be a great morning to get out and enjoy some fresh air as our temperatures right now sit at 56 in Joplin. Let's roll 53 in Chanute, 54 in Monette, and 59 in Miami. A whole bunch of sunshine today as we'll work up into the mid-70s, right on par for what we'd anticipate here middle of May. Not going to be oppressively hot or humid like it was last week. Now, slowly but surely, we are going to warm up this week. Gorgeous looking start over Television City. Here's what we've got cooking on Future Track after we get through today, and it's going to be marvelous. A little northeasterly breeze. Great looking temps. We get ready for tomorrow morning because it'll be here just in time for the drive. It'll originate out to the west right there. Some heavy rain to accompany the thunder and the lightning. Now, as this rolls through, it's going to kind of dip down to the southeast. Hang on below southwest Missouri and do so till about the noon hour. After that, we're going to warm up. We've got a string of 80s here for the middle of the week. Next shot for rain after that, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Majority of that heavy rain, though, staying up to the far north of us. And then kind of cruising through into Wednesday morning as well. Won't slow us down temperature-wise. Look at this string of 80s that we'll put together. Then we've got a big difference coming Friday and Saturday. Friday night thunderstorms and a cold front dropping us about 20 degrees in between our daily highs. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this. Certainly looks gorgeous outside of Television City. We can do that. Let's check on today's top headlines. It is the news you need to know before you head out the door.
One person is dead, one injured, and another in custody following a shooting late Saturday night in Pittsburgh. According to the Pittsburgh Police Department, just before 11 Saturday night, numerous 911 calls came in of people reporting multiple gunshots around the 100 block of West 23rd Street. When officers arrived, they located 2 female victims. 40-year-old Stephanie Short of Pittsburgh was pronounced dead at the scene. 46-year-old Velma Cubey of Kansas City had gunshot wounds as well and was transported to Via Christi in stable condition. Police identified the suspect as 39-year-old James Hamilton of Pittsburgh. Hamilton was taken into custody by the police department. Officials have requested charges of murder in the first degree and attempted murder in the first degree. Pittsburgh Police Department announces the addition of a new canine officer to its force. Roan is a 2-year-old German Shepherd brought in from Poland. Roan will be paired with Officer Zachary Daney. Together, they completed a 6-week certification course through Patriot Canine and are certified in narcotics detection, human trafficking, and suspect apprehension. On Saturday, Joplin Humane Society hosted its second annual Fast and Furious Drift 5K and Fun Run. Runners of all ages, human and dog, lined up at the starting line to raise money for the Joplin Humane Society. Vendors also gathered to show their support for the race by having goodies for the dogs. Whether people walked, ran, or pushed strollers, everyone had a good time to support the community. And on Saturday, Jasper County Sheriff's Office hosted a community safety day for the area. The Sheriff's Office wants the community to learn more about what they do day to day to keep the community safe. K-9 units and SWAT held demonstrations to show what they go through while in the field. Many local vendors came to showcase what the community had to offer. And a shooting demo was held inside to practice shooting at targets. Of course, nothing was complete on this hot day until you added some food. Popcorn, hamburgers, and snow cones were offered to the public. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Light jacket would probably suffice as our temperatures right now in the mid-50s. Gorgeous start. No worries, any precipitation. We're done with that for the time being. A little bit warmer down to the south where we're already got some 60s up there. We'll end up around 77, 78 degrees later on today. Northeast breeze, but just 5 to 10 miles per hour, and that will shift in from the east here overnight. Now, it sounds counterintuitive, but even though the breeze moves in from the east, it will be the west that we pay attention to for Tuesday morning as it develops out through portions of Kansas and Oklahoma. On us there for the morning drive, mainly for the south. The farther north and east you get, the drier you will be. Dips below I-44 till about the noon hour, and then Tuesday night into Wednesday. The hardest of the rain skirting up to the north of us. We'll get a little bit of fallout from that though. And then we warm up into the 80s. Run the string of mid-80s all the way to Friday. That's when that big cold front comes in with the thunderstorm activity for Friday night into Saturday.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making Southern baked beans in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Morning news continues on KOAM. CBS Mornings coming up next. A recent study found hate crimes are up 26% this year alone. And doing so has also brought light, of course, the Buffalo shooting. So former Attorney General Eric Holder, he's discussing the rise in hate crimes and, if anything, the federal government can do differently.
Or you can switch over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, Ash fights the evil dead once again.
All right. Plus, rent in Manhattan skyrocketing and doing so for the 3rd straight month. And also the amazing story of the woman nearly 70 years old who was out to tackle the mighty Mississippi in her kayak. All that coming up on Fox 14. That wraps it up for this Monday edition. Enjoy some fresh air. Be safe. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.